The NBA is just doing a really bad job right now. They're doing real bad. When James Harden, a serial loser, is able to climb past Ray Allen, all because the NBA allows traveling, because they think that that will make the game more exciting to watch. Yet no one's fucking watching. Isn't that interesting? But this conversation, it brings us to our last topic of the evening, and that's NBA viewership. This has been a trending topic for a while now, and the entire sports world has weighed in on it. The most interesting fact about this is that the NBA is losing to the WNBA. Isn't that rich? That's so funny to me. Rachel Demita, she reported this on her channel, and I have to steal it because it's just hilarious. So I want to show you guys something. So as you can see here, it was tweeted by NBA Central. Viewership in the NBA has been declining. This is per Awful announcing. ESPN's opening doubleheader averaged 1.6 million viewers, down 42% from 2023's debut with Victor Wembanyama. I wonder why. I wonder if it's because Bronny James is headlining the rookies this year. I wonder if it's because Bronny James is getting all the glory and he stinks. Bucks versus the 76ers, 1.71 million viewers, down from 2.55 million for Celtics versus Knicks in 2023. Sun versus Clippers, 1.52 million, down 49% from last year's comparable game. TNT's Thursday game, Spurs versus Mavericks, 1.45 million viewers, a 29% decrease from the previous year's comparable game. ESPN Friday's game, Pacers versus Knicks, 830,000 viewers, fewer than a college football game on ESPN2. Sounds pretty pathetic for the NBA, for a league that has seen millions and millions of viewers. 30 years ago, people were watching, when Michael Jordan played, the GOAT, when he played, people were watching. And then there was another fun fact from Robin Lundberg. I don't know who the hell he is, but maybe he's a Clark fan. I don't know. But Demita, she reported this on her channel, Rachel Demita. And I thought this was an interesting thing that Caitlin Clark's debut had 2.1 million viewers on ESPN2. We now live in a world where the WNBA can compete with the NBA in viewership, which is crazy. And so now when people say that nobody's watching the WNBA, why should they get paid? I think that's going to start a different conversation, right? And I know that they're still not bringing in the revenue dollars that the NBA does. And I'm not saying that they should get paid the same amount as the NBA players do. I just think it's really interesting that nobody's watching. And there's there's been a lot of chatter around why nobody's watching and what is causing the NBA ratings decline. And I think that it's a really interesting conversation for us to have. All these NBA casual fans, they kept saying that no one's watching the W. But now it seems that nobody's actually watching the NBA. That is what the truth is that nobody's actually watching the NBA. Okay? And what's interesting, what's even more interesting, right, is that when Michael Jordan was playing, this would never be the case. In fact, his Last Dance documentary averaged more viewers than the NBA Finals did that year. You would think people would watch since everyone was home. But I guess I thought wrong. But I want to show you the chatter from Shaq and Adam Silver's response. I'll read it to you guys for those who can't see the screen. But yeah, here we go. So Adam Silver, he slams Shaquille O'Neal over his NBA ratings criticism, but this is what Shaq had to say in the first place. So he says it's down because we're looking. Oh, you guys can hear me now. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Um, so I guess you didn't hear me read Adam Silver's response. Did you guys see it on the screen? I'll read it just for those who didn't hear it. Um, okay, so Shaq winds up saying it's down now, the ratings he's talking about, and it's because we're looking at the same thing. Everybody's running the same plays. Steph Curry and those guys messed it up. I don't mind Golden State back in the day shooting threes, but every team isn't a 3-point shooter. So why does everyone have the same strategy? I think it makes the game boring. Then Adam Silver responds and he says, I respect his opinion. I think that we pay a lot of attention to what we see in our game. Sometimes there's more appreciation for a 12-foot jump shot than a 30-foot jump shot. When Shaq played, it was the exact opposite, with critics complaining. There's not enough variation in your game. It's all about dunking. So he then continues to say, today, people say it's all about these highly skilled shooters. We've moved the 3-point line before back a little to make 3-point shooting more difficult. We could do that again. I'm not saying that's on the table. This is a good opportunity this season, and we're about to enter into 3 11-year television deals to step back and study the game a bit. Our game has never been more popular, he added. Okay. Well, let's react to this because I think this is a really interesting conversation. I thought that it was, in poor taste for Adam Silver to clap back at Shaq. And I thought as soon as he said, I respect his opinion, I knew that disrespect was coming. And quite frankly, I just, yeah, I mean, for what Shaq said, it's 100% right. And my biggest takeaway from what he said and what I got out of it was that we are watching the same thing. We don't see identities in teams anymore. We don't see that. We don't see an identity in a team, what they stand for. You know that when you played certain teams that okay, they were standing for their defense. You knew that when you played certain teams that you were going to have to defend the perimeter, differently. But it's almost as if teams don't stand for anything anymore. The entire league just stands for uncontested threes and layup lines. It's simple. And quite frankly, I feel a little I feel very disappointed in Adam Silver trying to clap back at Shaq Diesel. Adam Silver, he's responsible for the shenanigans in the NBA. He is to blame. And everyone wants to blame LeBron and players that perpetuate the standard today. And there's blame to go around, trust me. But Adam Silver is accountable. We can always take a look at the actions of the players, the coaches, the owners. But ultimately, Adam Silver is responsible for the performance and the product of the NBA. And he is accountable. Not Nike, not the players, not anyone else but Adam Silver. Of course, these other parties are complicit. And like I said, there's blame to go around for everyone. But he's the one that came up with that dumbass in-season tournament that no one will watch. He is the one that creates gimmicks to make players perform and want to play more games. If it's not their goddamn paycheck and their love for the game that makes guys want to play, then what the hell is it? Neither their paycheck or love for the sport is making guys want to compete. The only player I hear talking about competing is the lowest skilled one, and that's Giannis, Greek freak, a guy who travels and carries his way down the court and into the paint. The NBA is a pathetic disgrace. And I want to play a soundbite for you guys from Gil's Arena. They discuss why they think that the NBA ratings are low, and I want you guys to hear this.
NBA secured an 11-year, $77 billion TV rights deal before this season, but is facing a serious issue as NBA viewership is on the decline. So on a recent episode of his big podcast, Shaq offered these thoughts on why NBA viewership might be down.
I think everybody's looking at the same thing, and Steph Curry and those guys messed it up. Like, I don't mind Golden State back in the day shooting threes, but every team's not a three-point shooter. So why everybody has the same strategy? I think viewership will continue to go down unless we switch things back up.
So, Gil, you made a similar assessment in the past on this very program, Gil's Arena, presented by Underdog. Woof woof.
I made a statement that says every team shouldn't be shooting that many threes because every team don't have Steph Curry, Clay, and KD on their team. Yeah. You don't have nothing close to number 1, 2, and 4, 5. You don't have that to be taking the same many shots as them.
So to Shaq's point, so far this season, the league averages 37.2 three-point attempts per game, which would be a record. Celtics are currently leading the league with close to 51 of their 90 shot attempts per game coming from beyond the arc. There are 7 teams averaging more than 43-point attempts per game, and every team in the league is taking at least 31 threes per game.
That's Lakers, we last?
We are not last. I believe the Pelicans were last, but nonetheless.
But that's not the reason the viewership is down.
So there are a lot of factors contributing to the NBA's viewership issues. Among them, star players missing a lot of games because
it's hard
of
to
injury.
watch games. It's expensive to watch these games.
There you go. It's expensive to watch games now. It used to be free.
You spending a lot.
You know how much League Pass costs?
Like League Pass, and you don't even get all the games.
You don't even get the games in your own city.
Yeah, you don't get the Laker game.
Yeah, you don't even get your own teams and your city's games on League Pass.
Like the reason that is
get you some cable.
No, that now makes you buy cable too. So you got to buy cable for your own teams, and then you got to buy League Pass to get the League Pass stuff. So what ends up happening is the distribution of games now. They're harder to find.
For sure. Yeah, and also you got viewing habits shifting to more short form clips.
Hard to find things to watch, and viewership is down.
Let's be real. I ain't no snitch.
It sounds like the W, right?
I ain't no snitch, but if you want to watch games, there are avenues and ways on the internet always where you don't have to pay to watch games.
Yeah,
but you don't So y'all making us do that, league. So that's really your problem because you're making us have to find ulterior situations.
That's what I had to do when I was overseas.
Because we're gonna find it, and we're gonna find it for free.
No, but that's the problem. We gotta. That's the problem. We have to find it. It used to be available.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I was trying to watch my daughter play.
I know.
Right? Yeah. And I'm like, now I gotta get Disney, ESPN Plus, and now I got another motherfucking channel. to get. I thought I already had this, but now it's on ESPN. Now you got to get this. But like, they're just making it harder.
You did text me that day, and I had to go on a hunt to figure out.
Hey, fuck it.
Okay, guys. I call cap. Big cap. I have to. And I do, before I even get into my take, I want to address Opinion Stated. Guys, go follow and subscribe to Opinion Stated's channel. They are dropping amazing content. The way that he covers the sport is really incredible, and he has a lot of really great things to say. So if you support Sports Tea, please go and support Opinion Stated as well. But yes, I agree with you. Silver is wrong. No one complained that the game was ever all about dunking. There was more variation in yesteryear's league. It's just the truth. Yeah, he's crazy. Nobody complained about dunking. Nobody ever complained about that. But yes, I do call cap to Gilbert Arenas and what they're saying. The NFL is streamed across multiple platforms. And guess what? NFL viewership and ratings only increase year over year. I think last year it took a slight dip. I think we are talking about 126 million to 123 million. But people are watching football. Football brings families and people all over the country together, whereas basketball divides and no one is watching it. The product is terrible. People they're not saying this era is bad for their health. Bring back the best era of basketball. Adam Silver, bring it back. Do something. You're responsible. Accountability and responsibility is in your hands, Adam Silver. Sink or swim. Don't tell us that the NBA is more popular than ever because you're lining your pockets. Make the NBA great again. Get it done. Stop the excuses. Stop telling us that fame and fortune replaces talent and real athletic performance. Stop the circus. Stop the circus. Stop the reality show that's happening in the NBA. Bronny James is the worst player in the NBA. Stop featuring him everywhere. Stop advertising father and son duo. It's horrible. It's ruining the integrity of the league. It's ruining the competitive spirit of the sport. Fix it, Adam Silver. Figure it out and fix it. Okay, let's read some comments. I want to know what you guys think. What's causing the NBA ratings decline? What do you guys think it is? Great comments, great engagement. Hey, T-Bert, talk to me nice.
Hey, what's up, Dom? All right.
What do you think is causing it?
The NBA viewership. Let me start with Gilbert Arenas. Like, Gilbert Arenas is such a moron, and I don't know who payroll he's on, but something just ain't right with him a lot of times on his takes. Yeah, what he said, he has a small point. Like, all right, the games are all over the place, whatever. That might be 5% of viewership down. Address the elephant in the room. The game, the product is horrible. It's unwatchable. And the inmates have taken over the asylum. And that's the problem. Like, that's the problem. If you look at the viewership, right? If you look at the Bulls, their second run, the viewership, they were averaging over 25 million viewers per game. Now, this is in the late 90s, right? Now, let's fast forward till today. So if you look at last year's viewership, they're at 11 million, another 11 million, 10 million, and 13 million. How did the 90s almost double and a half viewership?
I know.
It's because the game is not watchable. Just look at the stats. Look, the numbers are there for anyone to look up. They're barely getting double-digit millions, where the Bulls and whoever was in the late 90s was in the championship, they were getting 25 to 32 million viewers back then. The game, there's no defense at all. You ever watch their defense, Dom? All they do is put one hand straight up in the air. They don't jump.
I know.
There's
You know who
nothing.
I actually like watching, and he's on the
Go ahead.
Lakers. I actually like Dalton Connect.
Don't connect me balling.
I like how he plays. I like how he defends. He used both of his arms. Like, to see a guy throw his two arms up the way that he does for thing. I really like him. I like his game. He hustles. He has grit.
Yes.
And I like seeing players like that. And yeah.
Most of the NBA, they give 10% effort on defense. And if you ever really analytically break down the game, look at the defenders defending on a three-point shot. They are below the three-point line. If you played any type of organized basketball, your coach, they have told you over and over again, you would get yanked out the game. If a team has good three-point shooters, you defend them above the three-point line. Today's NBA defenders, they defend the three-point shot below the NBA line. It's like there's a imaginary brick wall where they can't cross above the three-point line. So the game is just deplorable. It's so hard to watch. I can't stand it. And let me just address this. Yeah, so Gilbert and them, they're sitting up there capping and lying. The truth of the matter is, if you are a true fan and you are in love with the sport, you will go and find the games wherever they are. If you look at the Olympics, other countries, some of the games be on at 4 a.m. People set their alarms, they wake up, they go find the daggone games. The WNBA games, like, look at their viewership. It's 10 times up. But the WNBA is doing, I think, a poor job of putting all the games on one or two networks. They're all over. But why is their viewership way up? And they're on all different platforms. No, Adam Silver, your game, your product is horrible. It's just that simple.
It really is that simple. What do you think about James Harden? Do you think that he's a better shooter than Ray Allen?
What a joke. No, not even close. So this is a perfect segue. I'm glad we started backwards from the viewership right to Harden. No, he's not a better shooter than Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, and all of them guys. No, it's like they have their achievements. They count, but in my opinion, they don't count. It's like remember when the NBA and ABA, they merged, they didn't carry over the ABA stats. If you look them up, it's an asterisk next to them and everything. I feel like today's Steph Curry era, their stats should be on another platform. It should not be on the same stats of the real when the NBA was really, taking off. Because no, I'm not trying to take nothing away from the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're doing a great job. I think they're 12, 13, 14, 15, or wherever they are, right? Mm-hmm. And they're doing a great job. The point guard from Sacramento, he just broke a record. 3 games, he scored 1 million points. All right, kudos to him. But it really don't count to me. He scored 1 million points in 3 games because there's no defense. There's no defense. So all these stats and all these records that are being broke, yeah, I guess it's going to go in the history books, but it don't count because no one is playing defense. So why? You want to know why the viewership is going down? That's why. James Harden, he's talking about, he had a great career or something like that. What did he say now?
Yeah, he kept saying that he had an incredibly successful career.
Okay, let me break that down.
And that, he even went on to say, and I thought what that was, really crazy was that he said that basically nobody was going to break his 3-point record in our lifetime. We won't be here anymore.
As long as the NBA keeps going with no defense, and it's every year the players in the NBA, their goal is to play less defense than they did the year before. That record will get shattered. And let's talk about him having a successful career. all right, he got a good career in the NBA, but just think about it. He has a job, right? And within his occupation, he only performs 50% of what the occupation requires. The occupation requires offense and defense. He does 50%. He's going to be the type that when he retires, you can truly say he never gave it all. He cheated the game. He didn't leave it out on the court. So, I mean, I don't know what jobs, 9-to-5 jobs you can go, and they hire you and you just do half of your work, right? And the half that you do is really, really good. But the other half, I'm not interested in, and that will be considered a successful career. I'm confused. What are we doing here? No, he didn't give it all. He didn't give it his all. So I don't consider him having a successful career in the NBA. I consider that, hey, he had a lot of good and great moments, and he took advantage of. You're able to carry the ball. You're able to take 4 steps without it being called a walk. He absolutely took the rule book. He changed it and he manipulated it to his benefit. So, all right, call him a genius for that. But okay, his career, when I look back, it would just be, whatever. That's just me, though.
I mean, when you watch him, I don't know. You want to know what I remember James Harden for? I remember my most memorable moment of James Harden is watching him get clotheslined by Ron Artest. That's my greatest memory of James Harden, nothing else.
That's not mine. Let me tell you what mine is.
Go ahead.
Mine is totally different. It wasn't the James Harden on the NBA court. My greatest moment of James Harden is when him and Kobe went head to head in that high school gym. And Kobe was playing great D. James Harden was playing phenomenal D on Kobe. And Kobe hit the game-winning 3 in his face, and the gym went crazy. That was my greatest memory of James Harden, because that's the one and only time I saw him give 100% on offense and defense. And you never seen it again, and you won't see it. You never see it in the NBA. So my greatest moment of him is not in an NBA game. It's in a high school gym, and Kobe Bryant hit the dagger to win the game. That's my memory.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it's a really good memory. And, there was a time when James Harden was in shape and he did play defense, and he doesn't anymore. So.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big. He's in the softest era of all time. They're taking advantage of there's no rules in the NBA.
He's in the dad bod era. Let's be for real.
Oh, he got your boy beat. What's your boy name? Luka. He got Luka beat. James Harden looked like one of the clumps.
He really does.
Like.
He does look like he's a part of that family, and I don't even know. I think it's criminal that he's allowed to play.
You know what, Dom? I'm gonna say this. The only way for the commissioner, well, it has to be the future commissioner, because this guy Adam Silver isn't it. The future commissioner, to get the game back to where it needs to belong, you have to get rid of those $100 million contracts. These players need to be on play, like you play whatever your performance is. You get paid off of your performance. And if your performance sucks, you don't get paid well. Like the NBA has to take their product back. I'm all for player empowerment, but they are getting $200, $300 million contracts. They are one-way players, and they don't want to play back-to-backs. They want to load manage. They don't want to play no defense. They just want to focus on offense. And as a result, look what happened, Dom. They went to the Olympics, and they looked absolutely horrendous, because you know why? They don't know how to play defense. They have no idea how to play defense, and they look bad. So the NBA is going to continue to have this viewership problem until they take the asylum back from the inmates.
But
Period.
why do you think that the NFL does so well with viewership, even though they have the same streaming services as the NBA?
Because their product, if you go back and look at the NFL in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the product stayed the same. Only thing they changed was
You can't touch the
safety
quarterback.
mechanisms.
You also can't
Safety,
touch.
like
You also can't touch the quarterback. So NFL
right.
changed too.
Well, the NFL now has changed over the last 5 years, right? But their product stays great, I think, for one reason only, Dom. The product stayed the same, but it's only 16 or 18 games. So each one of their games are priceless. And I think that's why their product stays like really, the viewership stays the same. And they do a great job at marketing. Here's the key, Dom. The NFL markets the correct players. Our NBA game, you know who we're marketing? Bronny James. You know who we not marketing? What's the guy named? Oliveri that Bronny stole his bag from. So the NBA markets the wrong people. The NFL markets the correct people. The NFL, and look at their contracts. The contracts are totally different too. So these guys, if you look at Antonio Brown, one of his outbursts that he had when he took his jersey off and all that, his contract was incentive laced. He had to catch X amount of balls to get X amount of dollars and receptions and everything, right? They're not just guaranteeing the NFL players $300 million. They need to have the NBA players have incentives in their contracts to make those hundreds of millions. Until they do, this game sucks. And most of the guys in the NBA, once they get that bag, they don't care. They made it. What can you do to them? What can you tell them?
There really is nothing that you can do. And I mean, Adam Silver, he's making the NBA money. So that's all that they care about. As long as it's profitable, that's all that matters to them. But I just wonder, at what point does Adam, so like, that's all he wants his legacy to be, was that he made the NBA money?
You know what? It seems like he's more of he's a player pleaser, because honestly, he kept acquiescing to Draymond Green, and he probably should have been out of the league with all his antics. So, and then here's something else you got to look at, right? If you look at back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, right, there was only a handful of like non-American players, like the European players, right? And yeah, they were extremely talented, the ones that could make the league, right? But it wasn't, they didn't dominate the league. If you look at the last 3 or 4 years, or even this year, our top 3 players and our top MVPs are all overseas players. They're foreigners. Why is that? The reason why the foreigners really couldn't come over in the 90s and just have like 70, 80, 90 foreign players, because the defense was very physical, right? You had to have top of the line talent. Now there's no defense, so we're going to have a super huge influx of foreign players, because when there's no defense, they can come in. The reason they couldn't come in before, because they're not athletes, they're not athletic. But when you take away, there's no defense, you don't have to be athletic. So they neutralize the athleticism basically with the no defense. So now the European players can come and get MVP after MVP after MVP.
Yeah,
This is a product of a watered down game.
It's watered down, but it's also an effort to have some level of like affirmative action, so that the NBA, becomes this more global sport, by including everyone. Okay. And when you think about it, right, take a look at who's the best player of this era, Steph Curry. He's somebody that is showing people that anybody can play this game. that's what it looks like when you see someone who's like 6 feet tall, shooting all these threes, cutting through all these defenders, having these godlike performances in the Olympics. Like Steph Curry is, he's, to me, the sports hero of this era. But he's an everyman. How many guys do you know that are his size?
Right.
And then you take a look at the Europeans, the foreign players who have come into this league that they might not have made it back in the early 2000s, when you needed extreme amount of athleticism to play in the league. Now you just don't. You look at Jokic. He also has like a dad bod. He's like all flabby, no muscle, can't run or jump. You don't need that. And so, even Adam Silver is perpetuating that narrative of highly skilled players. How can you be highly skilled when you have no athleticism? It has to be a package. You have to be the whole thing. So,
right. I agree.
Thanks so much for your call, T-Bert. You're awesome and really great chatting with you. It always is.
All right, you make sure you get better, and shout out to everybody in the chat, and make sure y'all hit the subscribe and like button, and don't forget, Dom is really under the weather tonight, guys, and she still took her time out to give us this great content. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat too. Thank you, Dom. You have a great day. Get better.
You too, T-Bert. Thanks so much.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, guys, I'm gonna read some super chats. I want to get to that. Let's see. We have one from Lou. Thank you so much, Lou. Great job, Dom. I really appreciate you for saying that. Really nice of you to do that. Let's see. Then we have Nino. Skip and Stephen A is the reason. I can hear that. Totally. I'm with you. I think that Skip and Stephen A, they definitely changed the landscape of sports media. And I don't know if they did for the better or for the worse. So, yeah, I would say that more people, I would say that there's so much more engagement in talking about sports, but again, it's just the climate right now, especially for basketball, it's an interesting one, right? So I do want to thank everybody for watching and hanging out with me late. I have, one more phone call that I want to make. I'm actually going to call someone back, but I don't normally do that. But I do want to make sure that I call someone back. They've been trying to call multiple shows and they haven't been able to get in. So let's see if they answer. Hey, Mark, is that you?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Hey, Mark.
I am so sorry I called while you was in the middle of your cook session. Please forgive me. I was trying to get through.
I know you were just trying to get through. Don't worry about it, but I'm glad that I got you back. So, what do you think about tonight's show? Which topic were you calling in? I think it was James Harden, right?
Yes, ma'am. And not only that, I want to give a shout out to T-Bird, man. That dude is on fire whenever he calls in. I would love to have a roast session with him.
I love T-Bird. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's just I want to call him the Philly Shell because his defense is always on point. But with that being said, I don't even see why we even discussing the fact that James Harden is on any type of level like Ray Allen. Ray Allen can give it to you in so many different ways. And the one thing that he's done from his rookie season, even playing with Boston and somewhat with his final years with Miami, he played defense. He used to go nose to nose with Michael Jordan as a rookie, and Jordan would still give him 40, but he would tell him, "You're doing a good job on defense." Ray Allen could pull up at the top of the key. He could ball handle. He don't need to take 9 steps backwards just to get his shot off. Mm-hmm. He can dunk on you. He had a good mid-range. He can knock it down at the free throw line. He's still I remember watching that playoff series, Philadelphia and Milwaukee, where he went off the 8 threes, and they had Milwaukee hyped. And for a brief moment, you thought Milwaukee was going to go to the finals, but it didn't work out. Ray Allen is one of my favorite players, and to compare him to James Harden is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even
I've
though,
got Ray Allen top 5 shooting guard all time.
you know what, I'm not mad at that. I'll probably go up 1 or 2 spots depending on who's there. But yeah, Ray Allen wasn't called Jesus Shuttlesworth just because the movie He Got Game. The dude actually had game.
I know. I love that.
Just because you make it a whole bunch of threes because you're a volume shooter. We used to talk about this on Ticket Stream all the time. A dude named James Hayes said if you gave Reggie Miller and Ray Allen carte blanche to take 10, 12, 15 threes a game, they'd have put the record out of reach. Think about Reggie Miller, whose career three-point percentage is right slightly a tick of below 40%. And he shot at the most 5-6 a game. If you double that to 12, look, Steph will still be trying to chase that 3-point record right now. But the game was not played that way. The game was played inside out. But this league, to go along with the reason why the ratings are down, it's just outside. Look, I love White Castles. I don't like Crystals. Why? Because it's a copycat version of White Castles, and it don't taste as good. So I don't get Crystals. It's the same with the league. Yeah, Golden State was good, but what made the NBA something that you really wanted to watch was the versatility in the teams. Not everybody played the same. Not everybody had a Shaq with Orlando, so you couldn't play like Orlando. Not everybody had a Jordan and a Pippen, so you couldn't play like Chicago. People tried to build a team to beat Chicago, a la the Knicks and the Miami Heat, and and the versatility is what made the NBA. The storylines wrote themselves. Remember when Marv Albert used to have a storyline before any NBA or NBC game?
Sure
It was
did.
beautiful, setting it up where you're invested in the win or the loss of the game that you're getting ready to watch. It was great theater. And, shout out to those New York teams. They didn't have enough. Some could argue they wasn't as mentally strong enough than the Chicago Bulls, but you still rooted for them anyway.
I don't think
Right.
that they were, but think about it. They're still way more mentally tough than any guys that play today.
Yeah, you should not utter James Harden's name with anybody from the 90s at all. You should, this era, and I agree with you 1,000,000,000%, this era has an asterisk by it. It's its own era. It's not the era. I don't break my neck on a Friday night to go out there and watch some game because I'm just going to watch 2 Golden State type teams play that way, and that's not how I play basketball. I don't just sit at the damn 3-point line.
They're wannabe
Right.
teams, right? Because not everybody can shoot like Steph Curry. So why do you want to be playing like that? You're wannabes out there, and it's like develop your own, your own style, your own team identity. Stand for something. Give your fans and the city that you play for something to be proud of.
But I think you just hit on something that's very, very important. People don't know how to develop their own identity. And why do I say that? Look at even the movies and music. Look, you got remakes of movies back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Like, dude, I've already seen this before. I don't want to see a bastardized version of it now. I already know. Like the Color Purple remake, the first one stood on its own. We don't need a remake of a classic movie.
I'm with you on that.
Can we come up with an original idea and maybe I would spend my money on it or maybe I would spend my time on it? One of my favorite games of all time. And it literally had me having goosebumps while I'm watching the game was the Sacramento Kings and the LA Lakers Eastern Conference Finals. That was thrilling basketball. Another game 1997, December 1997, the Lakers go into Chicago and beating the hell out of Chicago by 27 points at halftime. And the Bulls came roaring back with what? Michael, Pippen, Randy Brown, and Tony Kukoc was playing full court defense on that young nucleus to show them how they got back in that game. Nick Van Exel was on fire. You know, Nick Van Exel was one of my favorite players. He was on fire. Him and Shaq was dominating that game. But the game swung when they put their feet in the dirt and they started to play defense. And it went to overtime, and then Rodman had the big defensive rebound and ended up knocking down 2 free throws, even though he's a poor free throw shooter. It was almost a fight that broke out. It was a great game. It literally sent you on a roller coaster ride from downs to ups to downs to ups. We miss that. We want people to compete. We want people to give a damn. Nobody was just sitting out there just launching 3 after 3 after 3. And if you hit 6 or 15 threes and you sitting up here doing the ice in the veins dance, like, dude, you missed 11. If I missed 11 regular shots, my ass is on the bench looking at my coach like, when am I going to get back in? As he's giving me the slow head nod. Like, not today, son. There's no accountability. Playoff games are either blowouts or close losses.
You're right.
Who wants to watch something that you already really know that what's going to happen? Who wants to watch this in-season tournament horse shit when you already know that, you know, the Lakers are going to get the best whistle and they're going to get put up against the weakest team so they can go to the... Nobody gives a shit about that. You know what I care about? The 1 through 8. I don't care about the 1 through 12. What is the 1 through 8 doing? Are you good enough to make the 8 seed? I think it was 2010, 2011, where you had to win at least 51 games just to make the 8 seed. So every game meant something. You couldn't drop a game. You couldn't load manage, or that was your ass at the end of the season. That one game that you lost to the Grizzlies back when they wasn't good, when you lost to the Grizzlies in April, bit you down the road. You have people strapping it up. Yeah, I got a thigh bruise, but you know, we can't give this game up. Let's go. Strap it up. Let's see what you're made of. Because it's easy to play ball when everything is going right. The reason why it's an endurance season is, guess what? When things start going wrong, what type of player you are. Which brings me back to James Harden. We've seen him shit his own britches when things got hard, and then he has a 1 for 16 game in the playoffs.
Every time. I can almost count on him being a loser. So
you put more effort in going to the strip club after a damn 30-point loss than you do in actually getting yourself ready to know that the defense in the playoffs is going to know you're going to want to do the step back 3. So what do? They chase you off that damn 3-point line. Shouts out to T-Bird. He was always told, chase their ass off the 3-point line. Make them take a contested 2. Will live with the results. But they're not going to sit out there, camp at the 3-point line to jack it up. You're going to make them do something different. That's called coaching. That's actually called basketball. Somebody's hot, send the double team. Make somebody else beat him. If we know he's going to dance in the lane, make him take a pull-up. Make him take a free throw line pull-up. We're not going to give him what he wants. We're not going to do what he wants. Isn't this the same James Harden that didn't show up in the 2012 finals, but he had a good career? Isn't this the same James Harden that shot 0 for my lifetime against the Spurs, Kawhi Leonard Spurs? Isn't this the same James Harden that, you know, was on his period in Brooklyn and didn't want to play anymore? Isn't this the same James Harden that it's all about the money, the fame, the strip clubs, the drip, the women, but not the game?
Exactly.
You wanted to go to Philly. You went to Philly. You cost Doc Rivers. Well, actually, Doc Rivers cost himself his own damn job, but he helped Doc Rivers get the hell out of Philly because he relied on him. You have a whole Joel Embiid that you did not want to feed down in the post when he had mismatches, but you had to take your triple step back 3 and brick it up. And then you're mad when they don't want to resign you. You had a good career based on whose perception did you have a good career? Because I look at James Harden like Isaiah Ryder. He's the type of person that his own trials and tribulations not made him a Hall of Famer. And J.R. Ryder had game. He just kept fucking up. Messing up.
Yeah.
His attitude was piss poor.
I know.
And teams got tired of it. And James Harden is head. Yeah, he'll be a Hall of.
Now you're like rewarded for a bad attitude unless you're Kyrie Irving.
Dude, I remember when Isaiah Ryder got thrown off the Blazers, got thrown off the Atlanta Hawks. That he was with Shaq and Kobe for one season. Phil Jackson was like, "Nope, I'm good." It's like, yeah, you got all the talent in the world, but if you're a team cancer, we can't win with you. They went out and got Mitch Richmond. He sat on the damn bench and got a ring, doing anything he could for Phil Jackson. And he deserved that ring. I wish he would have got it legitimately, but Mitch Richmond deserved that ring. You know, James Harden's going to make it to the Hall of Fame based off of numbers, but not based off of a good career.
Yep. I'm with you, Mark.
He got to pick and choose where, right. He got to pick and choose where he wanted to go. He talked all that shit about Giannis, but the one thing that Giannis has over him, he don't got the skill, but the one thing he has is the hustle and the heart. And yes, I agree, he doesn't develop his game, but I can give him a little bit of leadway when he goes out there and hustles.
Yeah, it's a mentality. I respect Giannis. I respect him, even though I don't care for his actual game. But Harden, he's just a serial loser, and it's not going to change. It's because of the mentality. It's because of the idea that winning is not important. And yeah, I can't get jiggy with that. Not at all.
I need you to trademark that serial loser, because I'm going to have to get a t-shirt, rock that, because I love it, because there are so many serial losers out here that run their mouth and has never backed it up. Just because you made millions.
Mark, can you actually imagine, though, picking your team throughout your entire career and you never win? You have every situation you want. You're able to pick and choose. You don't just get up and traded. Like, look, the way that Dame Dollar got traded to Milwaukee, I blame him for that because of all the chatter that he, was putting out there publicly about wanting to go to Miami. But when you pick your team, I feel like there should be more pressure on you to win. James Harden doesn't have any of that. He plans his exit speeches more than he gets ready for the season. And it's pathetic. And that's what makes him a serial loser.
And I give you credit for that, but also say this, and I know people ain't gonna like me saying this, but who cares? This is some of the reasons why people who don't like LeBron, because after Cleveland, the first stint, he chose to take the easy way out, and people that were diehard fans of him never forgave him. Now, look, I remember Shannon Sharp sitting up there saying Cleveland would never be a great team once LeBron leaves. Okay? LeBron is supposed to be the quote-unquote greatest player of all time. Why didn't he never start a season 15-0? Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, look, when you take a look at LeBron James, for me, that's just one of the reasons why he's not the GOAT, can never be the GOAT, is because you picked all of your teams. He didn't just pick his teams. He picked his coaches. He picked his teammates. So when you're orchestrating that much, you'd better win, and you'd better win more than 40%, of your finals. So that is, to me, that's why he'll never be the GOAT. And yeah, I mean, you can't pick so much and still lose. That's an issue. So,
and you bring your son into the league with a silver spoon in his mouth, and the dude can't play.
And he just can't live up to any of what LeBron said. So forget the media hype. At least just live up to what you're saying that you're going to do. So that's where it becomes problematic for LeBron and players today. They duck the fade. They don't want real competition. They don't want real pressure. They don't want to live up to anything that they say they're going to do. Forget prior generations and previous greats. Just at least come out here and do what you say you're going to do. That is that's the basic thing that I'm asking for, and they can't even do that. So thank you so much for your call tonight, Mark. I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you on the next
Can
one.
you please do me a favor because I'm at work right now? Can you send me the link so I can bless your channel with a what the hell is that called? PayPal or
I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll send
thank you so much, and keep doing the Lord's work. We need more people like you. Even my wife says she loves how you cook on these topics. So you got her subscribed. And she's not even a sports fan, but she literally sat up there in my face and subscribed to your channel. I thought that says a lot. That says a lot.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy, and it means a lot to me. So tell her I said thank you so much, and you have a wonderful rest of your night, okay? So if it's early
Keep
for you,
cooking.
if it's late for you, thank you so much. And please, call again. This call was really excellent, and everybody loved it. So you have the comment section on fire. So thank you so much, Mark, and please have a good night, okay?
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. Oh my gosh. So that's the end of the show tonight. I'm gonna close out. I'll read some more comments, and then, we'll end the live. Opinion stated. Thanks for hanging out with me all night. We have Young Disciple here. You're making my point. Everybody picks their own team. Okay. I don't know. See, like I was kind of like raised a certain way. So I liked my dad's team or my hometown. And those were kind of the rules, growing up. You were either a fan of where you grew up, your hometown, or, your father figure or your dad, whoever your dad liked, or you were kind of raised to like, that's just like who you were a fan of. And that's a team that you stuck with. So you don't get to like pick a bunch of teams and jump around. If you changed your team, that was like blasphemous. You didn't do that. You can't change your team. You had to pick a team and stay there. So that's kind of like how I was raised. And that's, that's the sports culture that I grew up knowing. It wasn't player focused like it is today. What else do we have here? Thank you guys for these compliments. LeBron is the superstar who does less with more. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I've never seen anything like it. LeBron made all these moves. Meanwhile, Warriors had Durant amongst other moves. I don't know what that means. LeBrick is uncoachable and doesn't have the integrity or resilience to work on his game. He's not even top 15. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough for me to rank players of today. I want to rank them against each other. It's hard for me to rank LeBrons and players today against guys who played in a much more physical league that had combined skill and athleticism. It's really tough. But guys, I really appreciate you all so much for watching with me. I know it was really late. I know I was late, but thank you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, share it wherever you can. That will continue to help the channel to grow. And yeah, I mean, I love hanging out with you guys, talking about sports. These are some of the most meaningful conversations that I have surrounding basketball and the game that I love. So thank you so much. And again, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next live. Have a good evening or morning for some of you. And thanks so much for watching. Alrighty. Bye-bye.